Elon Musk's growing influence in Washington, particularly as an advisor to President Trump and head of Doge, has sparked concerns about accountability and conflicts of interest. While Trump dismisses any potential ethical issues, Democrats demand transparency regarding Musk's vast financial interests and government involvement. Musk has used his social media platform X to challenge court rulings and attack critics, framing his efforts as a fight against government inefficiency and corruption. His companies stand to benefit from policies he influences, such as weakening regulatory agencies that oversee his businesses. As legal challenges mount, Musk continues to downplay his role, jokingly calling himself a volunteer tech support guy. Caroline Leavitt, at 27, has become the youngest White House press secretary, earning Trump's admiration with her loyalty and media combativeness. She made headlines by cutting short her maternity leave after Trump's assassination attempt, reinforcing her deep commitment to the administration. Her tenure has been marked by her confrontational approach to the press, banning Associated Press reporters and insisting on rebranded terminology like Gulf of America. Leavitt's rise stems from her background with Trump allies, her sharp communication skills, and an ability to align closely with Trump's messaging. While her style resonates with Trump's base, her tenure remains uncertain given the high turnover in the role. President Trump has returned to office with a fast-paced, media-dominating strategy designed to contrast his energy with Joe Biden's more reserved presidency. His administration has pushed a flurry of executive actions, some of which have faced legal challenges, while also engaging in highly choreographed events to maintain public attention. His approach has frustrated both allies and opponents, with Republicans struggling to stay informed and Democrats failing to unite against him. While Trump's tactics have energized his base and bolstered his early approval ratings, they also risk alienating key voter groups such as independents and suburban women. His relentless push to control the narrative continues, with planned high-profile appearances like driving the Beast at the Daytona 500 to further solidify his public image. Donald Trump secured confirmations for his unconventional cabinet by using mock hearings, pressuring senators, and making last-minute deals. His nominees, including Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., faced significant controversy, with some promising to adhere to U.S. policies to win approval. Trump and his allies exerted political pressure through donor-funded ads, social media campaigns, and primary threats against hesitant senators. Mock hearings prepared nominees for tough questioning, while Trump's team orchestrated mass calls and emails to sway Republican lawmakers. Despite initial resistance, most Senate Republicans ultimately backed Trump's picks, solidifying his influence over the party. Elon Musk and Sam Altman, once close collaborators who co-founded OpenAI in 2015, have become bitter rivals after Musk left the company in 2018 following a power struggle. Their feud escalated dramatically when Altman, now CEO of OpenAI, blindsided Musk by announcing a $500 billion AI infrastructure initiative, Stargate, alongside President Trump. Feeling betrayed and sidelined, Musk retaliated with a hostile $97.4 billion bid to take over OpenAI, claiming Altman had strayed from the company's non-profit mission. OpenAI swiftly rejected Musk's bid, further deepening the animosity between the two tech leaders. The outcome of this battle could shape the future of AI and the influence of tech leaders in government policy. The U.S. reassured Ukraine that it would be involved in any negotiations with Russia, despite concerns over Washington's intentions following a tumultuous week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized that Ukraine would not be sidelined, while Trump's Ukraine envoy, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, stated that direct negotiations would be between Russia and Ukraine, with the U.S. mediating but excluding European leaders. European officials expressed frustration, arguing that lasting peace requires their involvement, as they would provide financial and military support for Ukraine's future security. EU leaders are coordinating a response, emphasizing that peace must ensure Russia no longer poses a threat, with discussions on potential European military roles in Ukraine. Some European leaders urged strategic action instead of merely reacting to U.S. decisions, recognizing that negotiations are still in their early stages. President Donald Trump's announcement of peace talks with Russia has given Vladimir Putin the direct negotiations with the U.S. that he has long sought. Putin aims to exclude Ukraine and Europe from the talks, likely demanding U.S. withdrawal of support and military restrictions in Ukraine in exchange for a ceasefire. European and Ukrainian officials have expressed concerns over being sidelined, criticizing the Trump administration for making concessions to Russia before negotiations even began. Russia remains military capable, and Putin is using battlefield pressure to push for favorable terms for Trump. Putin's ultimate goal is to keep Ukraine out of the Western sphere of influence and ensure its long-term military vulnerability. Inflation played a major role in getting Donald Trump elected, but it is now becoming a challenge for his presidency as it remains above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. His policies, including higher tariffs and tax cuts, could contribute to inflationary pressures, making it harder to bring down interest rates. While some of the inflation issues originated under Joe Biden, Trump's economic agenda, such as tariffs on steel, aluminum, and imports from China, risks keeping inflation high. House Republicans' plan for tax cuts and spending reductions could have mixed effects on inflation with uncertain political feasibility. Although inflation has yet to hurt Trump politically, prolonged economic strain could shift public opinion against him. President Trump signed an executive order directing federal agencies to study how U.S. tariffs could be adjusted to match those imposed by other nations, potentially breaking from long-standing global trade norms. The directive, which stops short of immediate tariff increases, tasks the Commerce Department and U.S. Trade Representative with delivering reports on reciprocal tariff measures by April 1st. While business groups welcomed the delay in tariff implementation, critics warned that the move could disrupt international trade and undermine the World Trade Organization's most favored nations principle. The order also suggests that non-tariff barriers, such as foreign value-added taxes and subsidies, could be considered in determining tariff rates, raising concerns of a broader trade conflict. Although Trump appears to favor reciprocal tariffs over a flat-fee approach, the White House has not ruled out broader tariff policies in the future. Elon Musk defended his cost-cutting efforts in the federal government, arguing that his Department of Government Efficiency aims to reduce unnecessary spending and increase accountability. Appearing with President Trump in the Oval Office, Musk criticized federal workers' bureaucracy as an unelected, unconstitutional branch of government and supported hiring restrictions to shrink the workforce. A federal judge temporarily blocked Doge's access to the Treasury Department's payment system, while legal challenges and opposition from Democrats continued to stall some of Musk's initiatives. Musk emphasized that by reporting all of Doge's work and its results on the Doge's website, the entire American public can monitor Musk's potential conflicts of interest and Doge at any time, thereby enhancing the transparency of Doge's operations. Elon Musk's bid for OpenAI, backed by his AI company xAI and venture capitalists, poses a new distraction for Tesla shareholders, reminiscent of past costly diversions like Twitter. Tesla stock dropped 6.3% following the news, as investors worry about Musk's focus amid declining automotive revenue and slowing growth. Musk's political involvement, including a key role in the Trump administration, has also hurt Tesla's public perception, with analysts warning it could impact sales. Despite concerns, Tesla remains the most valuable automaker, though its market cap has cooled recently. Tesla's filing acknowledged Musk's divided attention, but his leadership remains critical to the company's high valuation. Consumer prices rose 3% in January, exceeding expectations and likely delaying Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. The increase was driven by higher prices for used cars, auto insurance, and eggs, with core inflation also rising 3.3% over the year. Markets reacted negatively, with stocks falling and bond yields rising, while President Trump reiterated his commitment to lowering prices amid concerns over tariffs and economic uncertainty. Consumer confidence declined as inflation expectations rose due to fears of higher prices from tariffs on Chinese goods. The Federal Reserve signaled no rush to cut rates, emphasizing the need for further progress on inflation. President Trump's early economic policies have created both excitement and uncertainty, as businesses welcome deregulation and tax cuts but struggle with unclear tariff and immigration policies. The sudden imposition of tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China has disrupted supply chains, forcing businesses to reconsider sourcing and pricing strategies. Immigration crackdowns are reducing labor availability, particularly in industries reliant on migrant workers, while also affecting consumer behavior in immigrant-heavy areas. Federal workforce reductions are causing instability, especially in Washington, D.C., though some private sector employees see opportunities to hire displaced workers. Meanwhile, Trump's focus on energy and AI infrastructure has spurred major investments, with businesses optimistic about deregulation and fossil fuel expansion. At the AI Action Summit in Paris, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance urged allies to adopt a light-touch approach to AI regulation, warning that excessive oversight could hinder innovation and U.S. dominance in the sector. His stance clashed with European and global leaders who had advocated for common AI governance principles focused on safety, accessibility, and energy efficiency. The US and UK declined to endorse a joint declaration on these goals, highlighting deep divisions over AI regulation. Vance criticized European digital laws for unfairly targeting American companies and emphasized the Trump administration's commitment to AI supremacy. He also warned against China's influence in AI, stressing that the race between the US and China will shape the future of global AI governance. Elon Musk has made a $97.4 billion bid for OpenAI's assets, which could pressure CEO Sam Altman and OpenAI's board to reassess the company's valuation as it transitions to a for-profit entity. OpenAI is already negotiating equity distribution among investors, including Microsoft, and seeking to raise $40 billion, making Musk's offer an added complication. Altman publicly rejected Musk's bid, accusing him of attempting to slow OpenAI down as a competitor, while legal and regulatory approval is also required for the company's restructuring. The OpenAI board could reject Musk's bid for reasons beyond price, as it must prioritize its mission of safely advancing AI for humanity. Musk's move intensifies his feud with Altman, bringing major tech investors like SoftBank, Microsoft, and venture firms into the growing battle over AI dominance. Business leaders and dealmakers, initially optimistic about Trump's second term, have grown wary due to policy uncertainty, especially regarding tariffs. January saw fewer than 900 deals announced in the U.S., marking the slowest start in a decade as executives paused big acquisitions amid regulatory unpredictability. The Justice Department's unexpected lawsuit to block a major tech merger has further shaken expectations of a business-friendly environment. While some companies are still pursuing deals, many are focusing on navigating tariffs and supply chain issues instead. Despite the current slowdown, experts believe conditions remain favorable for a potential M&A surge later in the year. China is leveraging antitrust investigations and regulatory scrutiny against major U.S. tech companies like Nvidia, Google, Apple, and Broadcom to gain bargaining power in trade negotiations with the Trump administration. By targeting firms with close ties to President Trump's circle, Beijing aims to pressure the U.S. amid ongoing trade tensions, particularly over tariffs and technology restrictions. The strategy mirrors U.S. regulatory actions against Chinese firms like Huawei and involves blocking or delaying mergers such as Synopsys' $35 billion acquisition of Ansys. However, these moves carry risks as they may discourage foreign investment in China and strain relations with key technology suppliers. Additionally, China has used national security concerns such as banning purchases from Micron Technology to exert further pressure on American firms. President Trump plans to impose 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports as part of a broader trade agenda, with additional reciprocal tariffs on other trading partners expected soon. Whilst Trump temporarily paused tariffs on Canada and Mexico after negotiating deals related to immigration and fentanyl smuggling, his administration warns that future tariffs will be harder to avoid. The proposed tariffs also include duties on computer chips, pharmaceuticals, and energy imports, with potential across-the-board tariffs to raise government revenue. China, the EU, and South Korea are preparing for trade retaliation, with Beijing already imposing counter-tariffs on U.S. energy and agricultural equipment. Despite the aggressive stance, some analysts believe Trump's ultimate goal is negotiation rather than outright trade wars, as seen in his quick deals with Canada and Mexico.